up, guys? It's your boy Alex, and welcome back to the Brave Lionheart channel. And we are back with another edition of Lionheart Review Corner. Now, this originally wasn't going to be a back-to-back kind of like review corner video week for me, because, like I said, the last one was an old review request from Infinity Studios, and this one was asked of me while I was working on the video for that. So yeah, this was actually asked by one of my old subscribers from my old channel, and this one was a questionable one. This was a very questionable one, and we're just gonna get it out of the way. Though if you couldn't tell from the thumbnail of the video, or the title of the video actually, today we're talking about something Paw Patrol related. Yeah. More specifically, we're taking a look at the Paw Patrol movie. Believe me, there's a lot to talk about with this one. Paw Patrol is Nick Jr.'s latest series that features talking dogs that are part of a rescue team that, well, rescue people that are in big situations. Now, me personally, I've never been a big fan of Paw Patrol growing up, but I have been a fan of Nick Jr. for a long time. I had favorite shows like Blue's Clues and stuff like that. This one didn't really stick out for me. I will admit, though, I do like the character designs a bit for, being a show about talking dogs that have vehicles and yet somehow pilot them with paws, of course. And I can understand why kids would like this show. Me, not really a big fan of it as much. And I believe some adults still watch this. But anyway, they announced a movie that was going to be made by Paramount, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, unlike my last video, I'm going to try to make this one a little bit longer, considering the movie I reviewed last video wasn't really that long. This particular movie is about an hour and 26 minutes. Yeah. Oh, anyway, let's get started. So, without further ado, let's dive right into the world of Paw Patrol the movie. And I will have to hear that every time I talk about it. Anyway, let's just get started. So, we open up our movie in the fictional town of Adventure Bay, which I believe is a beach town for some odd reason that decided to name that. I guess because there's adventure every single time people go there. Not really, though. Anyway, we see a family of turtles just walking on the small mini Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah, not sure how this town has that. I guess their contractor was actually from San Francisco, I guess. Anyway, the family of turtles is just walking on the bridge when one of them gets left behind. And it just so happens that a truck driver drinking a blue slushie is just riding down the road about to collide with the turtle. Now that I think about it, baby turtles are just kind of accident prone. I mean, it happened in Sonic, now it happens in this movie. Guess we can chalk turtles off on the endangered species list if they're gonna get themselves caught on roads and almost get killed by trucks, let alone semi-trucks. Rest in peace, turtles. You were amazing animals. Anyway, the truck driver narrowly misses the turtle, and it just sits there in its shell like a Koopa Troopa, not knowing what to do. And it just so happens that a boat person, or a fisherman, I guess, is just sitting by and sees the guy almost about to die on a bridge. When he tells them there's only one thing they can do. Basically call a rescue team, but no, the only people that are available happen to be the Paw Patrol. And we jump right into their theme song, which is actually the same exact theme song from the TV series, not exactly a redone version of the song with a different thing. And I want to talk about the song for a second. It's actually kind of a catchy song for kids show standards. Even though I think it's maybe one or two guys that are maybe in a band singing the same lyrics over and over, that's okay. I mean, I'll give this movie credit, though. They actually kind of recreate the intro perfectly with different visuals. which I forgot to mention that the opening visuals for this movie are actually pretty good. I mean, it is a movie made by Paramount, and they know how to do kids' movies visually well. Anyway, after their intro, the Paw Patrol show up, and I will probably forget the character names because I have not watched the show. I've only seen maybe, like, clips of it when it's on Nickelodeon every morning. Something like that. So the Paw Patrol and their leader, Ryder, who is human, by the way. Not sure how he became leader of a couple of young dogs, but hey, I guess the city gave him that job, I guess. But anyway, they managed to rescue the man and also get the attention of the people at Adventure Bay, including a woman who has a chicken in her purse. Explanation movie? Yeah, well, they don't give us an explanation. Anyway, things seem to be going pretty well in Adventure Bay, though things are not going too well in their neighbor city, which is titled Adventure City. Who's the man that came up with the names for these towns? It's like you're basically calling a major metropolitan city, Metropolitan City. Actually, I think there was a name for that in the Megamind movie, but we're moving on from that. Anyway, in Adventure City, we meet a character that is possibly not going to be introduced in the series anytime soon. A little wiener dog named Liberty, who I guess is kind of like the unknown sheriff of the town. She's just an abandoned dog, but the movie never really explains her character in this movie, surprisingly. Anyway, things seem to be going pretty well for Liberty and her day, I guess, until we cut to a re-election of a certain mayor who happens to be in the series. Let me introduce you to the villain of our movie, Mayor Humdinger, who surprisingly wears only one outfit in this entire movie. Purple. And, I know certain people can hate a certain color. Purple might be my least favorite color now because of this movie. Well, anyway, Mayor Humdinger says he's going to bring, good times and the adventure to Adventure City. And he's also not a dog person, but more of a cat person. Yeah, you can see where this is kind of going. So anyway, things are going fine for that, but now Liberty thinks that something bad is going to happen, so who's the one people, one person and a couple dogs, that she calls? The Paw Patrol, of course! And their ringtone for people calling them for situations is their theme song. I actually don't know if that was a thing in the TV series, but if it wasn't, then oh boy, we are in for a bad time, people. Anyway, moving on. They get the call about Mayor Humdinger and decide to go to Adventure City, except for their leader, Chase, who kind of had a bad situation going on in Adventure City. So we get kind of a little backstory for him, that he was just a lonely pup that had no owner and was very small in the big city until Ryder showed up and adopted him, I guess? They say that he did adopt him. And surprisingly, the situation with Chase fearing Adventure City gets easily resolved. Yeah. Surprised, I guess. Yeah. That quickly got resolved. Anyway, so Chase, Ryder, and the other pups pack up their gear and head off to Adventure City. Oh, by the way, while going through this, I did happen to look up the names of the other pup characters for this, so I'm going to list them off right now before we continue. So we have Marshall, Sky, Rocky, Rubble, and Zuma. And I'm probably not going to know all of the species of dogs they are, except for Marshall, because he is a Dalmatian, because he's a fire and rescue pup, basically. You guys can let me know the species of the other dog characters that I will not list, because, again, have not watched this show, surprisingly. But anyway, we're going to move on from that. So, they make their way to Adventure City, and while that's going on, the mayor basically conducts his evil scheme of the week, because, let's not forget, he is the villain of this movie. And he was a villain in the TV series, I was sure of that, but a terrible villain now that I think about it. Anyway, so yeah, his basic evil scheme of the week is a weather machine. Yep. Just dusting off that old villain scheme of the week cabinet that you have stashed in your office, I guess, and that was the first thing you picked up. But surprisingly, this weather machine, all it mostly does is suck up clouds and tries to refurbish them, I guess. So he basically wants to, take away the clouds because it was raining earlier in the city and he couldn't do his big, fantastic fireworks display that he wanted to show off to the town. So he decides to use the machine himself to suck up all the clouds. Pretty sure this isn't going to bite him in the butt later on in the movie. Spoiler, it will. But anyway, like I said, the pups make their way to Adventure City with Ryder along with them, and they have a second headquarters there already. Why do you need a second headquarters? You clearly could have had a headquarters in that minivan you were or not a minivan, the bus you were driving to the city. Yeah, that could have been your headquarters. You didn't need another big high-tech freaking headquarters in the city. And even, how exactly do they already have one without knowing it? Guess the movie doesn't really explain it that well. Anyway, so the weather machine works, the clouds are gone, and basically Humdinger can now use his big fireworks display. Which goes bad. It's funny because I wrote in my notes while watching the movie, they re-elected this guy again. Anyway, yeah, so the fireworks go bad and it causes a fire to basically spread out through the almost to the entire city, and the pups hear about this, and now it's time for the suiting up montage, which surprisingly takes about 3 or 4 minutes for them to get into their suits and their vehicles. Which, probably about now the city is engulfed in flames, but hey, you gotta show off the kids the awesome suits the pups are wearing and the awesome vehicles they ride. But I'll give the movie credit, the vehicles are pretty cool. For pups, and again, I reiterate, how exactly can they drive while they have no thumbs and only paws? But anyway, yeah, so they make their way to through the city to get to the fire, though they get stopped by traffic, and it's up to Liberty to guide them through traffic so they can get to the building and pretty much show off their weapons so they can take out the fire, basically. And give credit for Marshall's ride. He has a cannon that actually creates water like he's a freaking avatar that used the water element. Why is it that firefighters can't use this now? Come on, it couldn't be that hard to rig up like a giant cannon hose. Anyway, with the fire being dealt with, it's up to Chase to get to the top and basically save the people and get them down. Though his parachute gets kind of faulty and breaks off, and he kind of almost dies in this movie. Yeah, that would not have made the kids happy, seeing the leader of the Paw Patrol die in the first few minutes of the movie. Wow. But yeah, anyway, this also sort of ties into Chase being afraid and not doing his duty, which does get explored a little bit, but not that much. And considering, if we go back to the beginning of the movie, Chase did his grappling hook thing. Yeah, the dogs have grappling hooks in their packs. Well, mostly Chase does. Kind of thinking Mabel from Gravity Falls was the one who gave the blueprints to Ryder to make that. Hey, it's the best thing she uses in the show. But yeah, going back to the beginning, Chase was doing something more dangerous than what he's doing now, and yet it's here that he gets afraid. You can blame your faulty parachute for that, not you, dude. So yeah, Mayor Humdinger's upset that the Paw Patrol came to save and sort of ruined his day, so now he plans to do something about it. Later, because now he does the exact same thing in this movie. Yeah, this movie already gets really repetitive with how it moves its story along. Basically, Mayor Humdinger does something that looks cool, it fails, and the Paw Patrol has to go save it. And Chase surprisingly gets afraid again And also Ryder decides, yeah, so I was wrong about this. You're totally not fit to be the leader. So not going to take you on missions anymore. And this leads to Chase getting captured by Mayor Humdinger's two assistants, who I neglected to mention in this movie because they are annoying to talk about. So, after Chase gets captured, he's sort of sent to a dog obedience school, dog jail. No, we're going to call it a dog jail because it is a dog jail. Kind of like Lady and the Tramp, except without a lot less singing and has characters that are only there for the scene and not mentioned again, except for the ending when they need the Paw Patrol's help, which we'll get to the ending pretty soon. Anyway, Chase is there, but that doesn't last too long because Ryder and Liberty and the rest of the pups somehow figure that out. It's also kind of a subplot that's in the movie that doesn't really go anywhere, and it's easily dealt with, surprisingly. But, yeah, moving on from that, Chase is freed, and he's basically the leader again, with his thing almost being done. And now it's time for Mayor Humdinger's best evil plan. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen. But, let's just humor ourselves and see what happens. So, Mayor Humdinger's plan is basically just build a giant tower on top of one of the buildings with a gentleman's hat on top of it so that he can look down on everyone. He even coins a hashtag phrase. Ugh! Which physically hurt me. This is something I needed to mention. The puns in this movie, they are not good. They literally are not that good. I'll understand that a little kid will get a laugh out of it, but me personally, they were pain. Unbearable pain. Let's just move on. So, the pups get together and Liberty joins the team, even though she technically already was a member of the team. She listed herself as an unofficial member of the group, but she did a lot of things better than the Paw Patrol did. She actually had good plans. But yeah, so she gets her own suit, she gets her own vehicle, and now we get to the final climactic part of the movie, where Humdinger's plan goes awry and goes bad. Who could have thought of that? So yeah, the Paw Patrol not only have to save everyone else in the city, but they also have to save the mayor from his building. Though I will admit, we do get one line in this movie that actually made me laugh. It's when Ryder's trying to get the mayor into the elevator and he says, because of all the differences we've had in our past, I take no pleasure in doing this. And pulls his rappel thing, making the mayor just go down like super fast in the elevator shaft. And then he just okay, yeah, that was a little satisfying. And I'll admit, that did get a chuckle out of me. While a lot of the puns in this movie are not that good, two, in fact, got a little laugh out of me. Just a little one. Oh yeah, and while all this was going on, the weather machine's kind of malfunctioning because it took too much clouds and has basically created a tornado and a hurricane. Yeah, so it's kind of turned into a little cloudy with a chance of meatballs situation. Though I guess you could say that this movie ripped that idea off, except with food flying down, it's a tornado that could actually kill people. Yay, a dangerous thing in a children's movie! Perfect, Paramount! But yeah, anyway, that situation is dealt with when Skye uses her plane to basically launch it into the thing, destroying it, though she survives. Which kind of brings up a point I want to bring out in this movie, which I'll talk about at the end of my final thoughts. But anyway, yeah. While that's going on, Chase has to go save Ryder in the elevator shaft. His equipment breaks again. Which makes me think, with Skye destroying that weather machine with her plane and using her jetpack, you think her jetpack would malfunction and it would plummet and she'd have to be saved by Liberty, but, we're just going to move on. But, yeah, so Chase has to go save Ryder, loses his grappling hook, pretty much does his adamantium rage! Sorry. But yeah, does that rage, jumps across the gap in super slow motion, and somehow is strong enough to lift a pretty heavy boulder on top of Ryder's legs, which I'm pretty sure are shattered by now. But anyway, yeah, Chase saves him. They sort of arrest Humdinger. There's no police around, so I assume Chase is the only law enforcement that officially is there to arrest him. And the pups are awarded the key to the city. Surprisingly, even though Liberty is the one who should deserve it because she had all the better plans. And the movie ends with the Paw Patrol going on another adventure. And thus ends the story. And there you have it, guys. That was my review on Paw Patrol the movie. And despite what I've said about it, is it the worst movie I've seen? No, it's not entirely the worst movie I've seen. Granted, it's also not that great of a movie. I would say it's an okay kids movie. And like I said, I can understand why kids would enjoy this movie because, you know, it's friendly, it's family friendly, it's cute, it's got cute adorable puppies, which I won't deny it. The puppies are adorable. But as for me not being a big fan of Paw Patrol, it's not an enjoyable movie. I will get the good stuff out of the way right off the bat. Visually, the movie looks good. Because, like I said, Paramount knows how to make their kids' movies look visually beautiful. And the backgrounds are actually really decent to look at. They flesh out the characters a bit more, like I said with the Pixar movie I reviewed last time. And I'll admit, the characters are okay. Like I said, I like the character designs, though I don't watch the show. And I'll admit, the cast did a pretty good job voicing the characters. They did a good job. Even though the sad thing is, most of the other Paw Patrol members don't really get much lines in the movie. In fact, they're barely in the movie. They just are there to save people. And speaking of the saving, like I said, doing the same thing 3 times in a movie that's, by the way, hour and 26 minutes, yeah, it gets really repetitive when you're sitting there watching it. When considering you know the outcome of what's going to happen. And yeah, probably my biggest complaint I would say is Chase in this movie. Even though, like I said, I've never watched the show, but I've seen clips of the show, Chase has been in more dangerous situations than in this one. And it's just kind of resolved after twice that it happened. And the weirdest thing is, I feel like this backstory could have been for the new character Liberty. Like I said, she's not in the show, apparently, but they could have at least given her more of a character. Like, for instance, take all the stuff that happened to Chase, say it still happened to him, but he got over it quickly, but that same stuff is happening to Liberty. And it's Chase that basically gives her the courage to be a true hero or a true member of the Paw Patrol. Like, she does try to help the Paw Patrol out a bit. Sorry, I coughed a little bit, but yeah, she tries to help them, but she sort of fails at her job while the Paw Patrol still saves them. They commend her for doing a good job, and Chase kind of gives her encouragement to, like, be a good team member, and she eventually joins to help stop Humdinger and all that. I'm just saying, it feels like they could have, like, written that better for Liberty and Chase. I'm just saying, that's my own personal opinion. So, again, is this the worst kids movie I've seen? No, there's been plenty of other kids movies that I've seen that are pretty bad. I would say this one is okay. If you're a big-time Paw Patrol fan, then you will love it. If you're not, you will get some enjoyment out of it. It's not the worst movie I've seen. It's alright. It's passable, basically. But, oh man, you'll have to sit through a lot of bad puns to get through it. And they were a lot of bad puns. So, what do I give Paw Patrol the movie? I'm going to give it a solid 5.5 out of 10. It's an average, okay kids movie. Younger kids will love it. For some reason, older adults will like it. I don't know why, except for the fact that, yeah, they'll watch it with their kids because they want to be good parents, and that's a good thing. So yeah, Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell to never miss a new video. With that being said, I will see all you awesome guys and gals later. Bye-bye!